There are many people who have done difficult Pokemon challenges. A popular one being beating the game with just a single Pokemon. But they always use a good Pokemon. So I thought to myself, what would be the hardest Pokemon to complete this challenge with that no one else has ever done before? Well, lucky for me, Pokemon has just recently announced the release of Pokemon Wind and Waves, the 10th generation of Pokemon. And with this announcement, a lot of leaks of new Pokemon and changes to Pokemon have come out. So I decided to take one of these newly changed Pokemon and see if they could beat Pokemon Emerald. This is the solo Generation 10 Caterpie run. Thanks to some 4chan leaks, we know that Caterpie's base stats and his move pool have been completely changed. He is still a bug type that will eventually evolve, but despite being one of the weakest types, he only has 3 weaknesses, so he should have no problem getting through a team of 6 Pokemon. This will probably be the hardest challenge anyone has ever done. So, let's jump into where all Pokemon Emerald runs start. Little Root Town. Now, before I start my completely normal Pokemon run with no extra changes, I must do a little something that I used to hear about at school. To the Pokemon.
Caterpie,
2 more times.
The playground rumors were right.
After beating Zigzagoon with my very normal Caterpie moves, I get taken to the lab to name my new Caterpie the only thing that Twitch chat was thinking about.
Piss. Y'all need to drink more.
Piss was then challenged by my new rival, who was sporting a Torchic. One of Caterpie's weaknesses if they so happen to know a fire-type move, but through some intense planning, Piss was able to skillfully take them down. We then headed back to the lab and were given some very unneeded Pokeballs, and now the run could start for real. To make things even harder for myself, I decided that the only way anyone would ever take this challenge seriously was if I used level caps. And of course, use rare candies, cause I wouldn't want to go into a fight under-leveled, not with such a weak Pokemon like Caterpie. Surprisingly though, I had no issues going to Roxanne and Rustboro, but that would change, since Roxanne is a rock-type gym leader, and that is one of Caterpie's other weaknesses. To beat her, I would need a lot of luck, and just a little bit of skill. But first, I went to the local school, because Caterpie needs all the speed he can get. Sadly, Gen 10 Caterpie hasn't learned any moves that could help clear rock types with ease. We only had these moves. Roxanne was going to be our hardest challenge yet, with my ineffective moveset and all of her super effective hits that were taking a whopping 14 damage away from Caterpie. That's like 4 hits in a row to beat me. Thankfully, Gen 10 Caterpie has a new hidden ability, Contrary. Every time her Pokemon lowered my speed, they actually increased it, which was a massive misplay from her. And when things were dire, Caterpie's new Quick Claw came in clutch, getting us a priority Oblivion Wing onto Roxanne's Nose Pass, and with just a few Dragon Claws, we had obtained our first gym badge. Now you can see just how hard this challenge is. Imagine if I hadn't gone lucky with the hidden ability, or even the Quick Claw. Caterpie is still a weak Pokemon who needed all the help they could get to surpass this first challenge, but this run is far from over. I'm gonna skip ahead a bit because, let's be real, we all know the story of Pokemon Emerald by now. So after saving a bird from being pokenapped, I got on a ship and made my way to the next gym. Instead of going through the caves first, I decided it'd be best to go see Brawly, because his gym is a fighting type gym, which is one of the 3 types that Bug is actually resistant to, so he would be much easier than Roxanne. Thanks to Gen 10 Caterpie's new moveset and his surprising but much needed access to flying type moves, I only needed to spam X and the gym was done before I could even blink. And just like that, I'd collected my second gym badge. Right after that, and only because I had to, I sprinted through the cave, gave some guy a letter, and then set sail for the city of Slateport. While in the city, I avoided everyone on the beach in the name of social anxiety, and ran straight to the museum, where we encountered Team Aqua again. With those lot losing to the likes of a Caterpie, I can't imagine anyone would be scared of them again. I mean, just look at the little guy. He's harmless. You know, I just realized that I'm causing all these different trainers and Pokemon such massive amounts of embarrassment just beating them with Caterpie alone. I think from now on, I'll only be doing trainer fights that I have to do, just to save people from the embarrassment. Look, I know this is a challenge to see if the new Generation 10 Caterpie can beat Pokemon Emerald, but I can't just go around showing off how good a trainer I am by beating as many people as possible. I mean, it's not like I'm using a legendary Pokemon or anything. But before I head over to Watson, I encountered May for the second time. Most likely embittered by how Caterpie destroyed her last time, she charged me with a team that in most other runs could cause the end. Luckily, we did have the advantage on her strongest Pokemon. We just had to play around her other two Pokemon, a Wingull, which is a flying water type, flying being the last of Caterpie's 3 weaknesses, and if they had Wing Attack, a move that they learn at level 13, it could be the end of me. Thankfully, we cleared Wingull with just one Dragon Claw. Next up was May's new Combusken, a fire fighting type Pokemon, and although Caterpie is weak to fire, it's resistant to fighting, meaning that Combusken isn't super effective against our Caterpie. Only effective. I needed to clear it out and fast, but as I did, it used Detect, protecting itself from my flying type move. If Combusken had a Quick Claw and it procced on the next turn, this run was dead. And as if by divine intervention, the hypothetical Quick Claw didn't proc, and I was able to defeat that Combusken. Lastly was a Lombre, another Pokemon weak to Caterpie's flying type moves, but according to this damage calculator, Oblivion Wing didn't even have a chance at beating it in one hit, which was scary because Caterpie had lost a lot of health. I mean, look at all that damage he's taken. But our Caterpie, our Piss, defies the odds and annihilates Lombre in a single hit, dashing May's dreams at revenge. Seriously though, this is why I never use damage calcs. They have nothing on the ability to ball. Now, I'm able to move on to Watson, but first, I have to deal with Wally. Okay, with him gone, I smashed my way through the puzzle, and now it's time to challenge Watson and get my 3rd gym badge. Sadly, again, we didn't have any moves that were super effective against Watson and his Pokemon. I had to get by using my weakest move, a flying move called Dragon Ascent, which is a move that lowers Caterpie's stats, but thanks to my ability, it increases them instead. These stats don't do anything for me though. I still take a whole 7 damage from Voltorb. The rest of the fight was a bit of a slog. Watson's Magneton was scary, I could barely damage it, and it had a move called Sonic Boom that does 20 fixed damage. On top of that, Caterpie was also paralyzed, so he was moving much faster than me. I was only barely able to come out on top with an Oblivion Wing that gave me the tiniest of heals. Lastly was Watson's Manectric, and this guy thinks he can taunt me? It uses Howl, a move that does no damage. How useless is that? It then used the move Shockwave to try and kill my Caterpie. Thankfully, it's not as good as Sonic Boom, and Caterpie is able to take out both the Manectric and the final Electrike, all while being at low health. Sadly, after this gym, I learned that Caterpie is actually unable to learn all of the required HMs to progress through Pokemon Emerald, so this is where the run ends. No, the new Generation 10 Caterpie cannot beat this game completely solo. But what if I were able to get a helper that would only learn HMs that Caterpie is unable to, and wouldn't attack in any of the double battles? Welcome to the team, HM worker. Now we get to the first real slow part of the game. Pushing upwards towards Full Arbor Town, Caterpie does what he does best, and our new worker breaks through any rocks that may be in our way. This lasts until I can figure out a way to connect this sentence to the gang plotline. Water wet, magma hot, blah blah blah, scale the mountain, you know the drill. And now we have to confront the gang leader Maxie and his terrifying team consisting of a few fire types and a flying type. 2 of Caterpie's 3 weaknesses. It would be a hard fight, except Maxie misplayed, sending his Mightyena out first, which attempted to intimidate Piss, but Piss is too strong for that, and it only made his Stream of Silk hit harder. And with a single lucky critical hit, we were able to strike down that Mightyena. Because of that one major misplay, Piss was able to wash away Maxie's entire team. Maxie then disappeared. I assume he was swept away by Piss's magnificence, and we moved on to Lava Ridge. Now, here you would usually pick up the egg in hopes of getting a great Pokemon. Maybe there'd be a legendary in there, but not me. This is a Caterpie only run. Adding more Pokemon to the team, well, more than we've already have, would only sully this run's good name. The Fire Gym was the next stop, and that would be our hardest challenge yet. Not only do I have to deal with the heat coming from this hot-ass sauna maze, I had to challenge the gym leader Flannery with a whole 4 fire Pokemon in her team. While Caterpie can outspeed them with the use of his Quick Claw, if I get unlucky and they are somehow faster, Caterpie would get incinerated. Piss was able to extinguish the first 2 Pokemon without a struggle. He managed to defy the odds and outspeed both of them. But Flannery's Camerupt was able to survive a hit with a huge amount of health left over. Thankfully, Flannery wasted her moves by first turning on the sun and then healing her Pokemon. If only she had attacked me, my run might have been over. Lastly was Flannery's ace, Torkoal, which tanked a Dragon Claw and then seduced Caterpie with a Tract, immobilizing Piss with love. If I was unlucky, Caterpie wouldn't attack and Torkoal would burn them to ash. Thankfully, Piss wasn't fooled by Torkoal's charms and was able to fight through it, getting the win with tons of health to spare. With my 4th badge in hand, I had to trail back all the way to my father, Norman, for what would be an easy fight. On the way there, Caterpie learned a new move, Quiver Dance. Not a great move given that it doesn't do any damage, but it increases a lot of our stats, so it could be perfect to help us the rest of the run. The 5th gym was pretty easy for my Caterpie. Normal type Pokemon are usually very weak, despite having wasted a move slot on a clearly broken move like Quiver Dance. Even though I had wasted a move slot on something incredibly useless, we made it to Norman with no real issues whatsoever, and we easily sweeped the easiest gym in the entire game. Normal Pokemon are just really bad. None of them even came close to hurting my Caterpie. As a reward for beating the gym, I was given the HM Surf, which shows off another change for Caterpie as he is now able to... Wait, no, that isn't right. Okay, now he can learn Surf. Let's get rid of that terrible move. I then surfed on Piss towards Fortree City, only stopping for a quick look at the Weather Institute, which was currently under attack by the gangs as part of the plot. I mean, everyone knows what happens in here, right? It's much the same, but with a Caterpie. We sweep through all the grunts, fire an admin for the first time, get gifted a cast form to warm up the PC box, and then we leave and encounter May again. She still doesn't have a proper team, and starts the fight with a scary Pelipper, a fully evolved Pokemon that, if it had a decent flying type move, might be able to instantly knock out Caterpie. But for some reason, she used Stockpile, and Piss was able to Dragon Claw the bird away. Next up was Combuskin. And then she sent out Lombre, and with a single click of a button, Caterpie's Quick Claw activated, and with our good luck and great skills, we quickly dispatched it. We then picked up this new cool scope thingy from Steven and used it to get to the next gym. This gym was filled with some very difficult puzzles for children. But that wasn't what I was afraid of. This whole gym had trainers with flying type Pokemon. Caterpie was weak to everyone. This gym would be our hardest challenge yet. Caterpie doesn't have any moves that are super effective against flying types. And when I challenged Winona, I found out that there were 5 flying types on her team. The only way this could be a fair fight was if I had 6 Caterpies out at the same time. This gym was going to take a lot of skill and just some luck. The Swablu and Skarmory both went down without much of a fight. A single weak Dragon Ascent and a Surf took out both of them pretty easily. But then the first troublemaker came out, a Pelipper. Just like with May, this Pokemon could easily take me out, but Winona was scared. She protected Pelipper on the first turn, and then missed an attempt to confuse Caterpie, giving me ample opportunity to take it down. Next was Altaria, her ace, and despite being a fully evolved flying type, it went down in 2 shots from Caterpie's Dragon Claws. It really must have been a weak Pokemon in reality. And lastly was her Tropius, a grass flying type that is weak to flying type attacks since flying type does not resist flying type, so I used a flying type move to beat it. And with that, our hardest challenge was complete. This next section of the game is the longest part without any gym battles, where we have to fight our way through many gang fights. And I'ma be real, I kinda blacked out during it. I think we fought Maxie again, maybe watched the sub get stolen. I think we broke into some base. Yeah, that stuff isn't very important. Anyway, welcome to Moss Deep City, home of the next gym, and our hardest challenge yet. Since the gym is filled with double battles, we need to take one of our PC warmers to be able to do any of the gym fights. So, welcome back to the team, HM worker. After showing off how moist and wet and squishy my brain is by storming through these puzzles, it was time to fight Tate and Liza. I tried to start this fight with just Caterpie alone, but if you've only got one Pokemon available, Tate and Liza will shun you. I didn't realize they were so snobbish about double battles. Anyway, after healing our worker up, I got started on the battle. Don't worry about the worker, Tate and Liza took them down before they even got a chance to do anything. Without getting too technical, after exerting my expert skill of clicking the X button about 15 times, I triumphed over the duo and obtained my 7th gym badge. Up next was Team Magma, who had taken over the Space Center, so I go in there, deal with them, fight Max again, but this time with Steven, and Yeah, I might have been the one who took out most of his Pokemon, but hey, at least we still won. And I got dive for my troubles. With this being a Caterpie solo challenge, he had a very strange moveset right around now. If anything, this just shows the power of Gen 10 Caterpie. I really can't wait to play him in the new games and use him for real. All that's really left to do now before we can get our last gym badge and tackle the Elite Four is find and deal with Archie, which isn't too hard even with this moveset. We watch him do a terrorism, go find Rayquaza, this weird green looking worm creature, really nasty to look at, be way better if it was gold. Anyway, we solved the terrorism and now I can finally attempt the final gym. After skillfully finding the hidden way through the puzzle, I was face to face with Hoenn, the final gym leader that everyone forgets about. Even with the strange moveset for Caterpie, Hoenn would be no issue. With a combination of Fly and Caterpie's brute strength, we were able to take down all of Hoenn's Pokemon and obtain our final gym badge. It's been a long and hard challenge, this one, and to think I had only started just a few hours ago, but I was almost finished. I just needed to get through Victory Road, not struggle against Wally's team in any way, shape or form, and then there I was, at the doors to the Elite Four. But before I attempt the Elite Four, I need to fix Caterpie's moves. No matter how strong the Pokemon is, a full set of HM moves isn't enough to solo the entire Elite Four. So, with this new moveset, I was ready to end this challenge. Surprisingly, the Elite Four did not stand a chance against Piss. Even with him at level cap, Piss was able to surf and fly straight through all of Sydney's team, taking no damage. Phoebe only fared a little better against the monster that was Piss the Caterpie. She managed to get a little bit of damage on him using a Confuse Ray and some luck, but Piss broke through it and drowned her team of ghosts. Glacier fared a little better than the other two. Her Ice-type Pokemon were able to tank some of Piss's hits and do tiny bits of damage to him, but Piss was too strong again, using Surf to drown the Pokemon. And then there was one. Only Drake was left standing between me and the champion, but by this time, Piss had learned a secret weapon. Piss had Ice Beam. Now nothing Drake had could stand in our way. The only Pokemon that was able to get a hit off on Piss was the Kingdra, who immediately paid the ultimate price for it. Then it was just me and the champion Wallace. I had stormed my way through Hoenn's best. A single Caterpie had gotten this far, and it would get further. Wallace wasn't much of an issue for Piss. He swept through most of his Pokemon, and when Wallace had him poisoned by having Tentacle use Toxic, Piss just replied, no. After that, Wallace was scared. His remaining Pokemon fell to Piss one by one. As a last-ditch effort, he had his Gyarados use Hyper Beam on Piss to try slow him down, which did an amazing 13 damage. At this point, the tidal wave that was Piss was unstoppable. Activating his Quick Claw, Piss used Fly and took down the Gyarados with a critical hit as a display of dominance to the now ex-champion. And then it was over. Through so much skill and so much luck, I had managed to beat the entirety of Pokemon Emerald with the new Generation 10 Caterpie. Mostly. But what if I told you there was something that I haven't been telling you? A deep, dark secret about our Caterpie Piss. Some of you might have picked up on this already, but our Caterpie is just Mega Rayquaza with just a few extra moves. I gave his stats and abilities to a Caterpie. Happy April Fools, everyone!